Hey everybody, this is Ken VHS. Welcome back to Shogun 2 and what may be the last episode of our Mori campaign here. We are attacking the Yamana in desperation. The balance of power is maybe slightly in our favor, but they've got some katana units, they've got some bow samurai. They've got a very beaten up daimyo, and we did force a, how did they call that? It wasn't a Pyrrhic. It was a valiant defeat, basically. We lost, but we took a bunch of them with us. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough, and I am rather discouraged with how this campaign is going. Obviously, we never got to a point of stability. This is, I think, what is it, episode 4 or 5, and this may be the last one because we just lost our capital to the Besho, who stormed through our vassal's province and then immediately went for us. All we've got is it Iwami? Yeah, we've got Iwami, and the Besho are coming up right behind us from the south here. So my only hope is A, to win this battle, and then B, to barnstorm east, and basically this is a migration campaign now. I'm thinking this is the only way to proceed. The force that we have cannot defeat the army of the Besho. So we can't turn around and hit them. And we've got just a ridiculous amount of archers. I mean, we do have, you know, flaming arrows for whatever that's worth. I don't know, honestly, if that's good. We've got 3 generals here. So that's something. It's a bit of cav. I guess we'll put these guys all on skirmish. And we'll try to gun for their general, wherever he is. Maybe we can split up our guys, because really any one of these units could go after their daimyo, given how weak he is. Let's just get this started. They're straight ahead on top of the hill. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we'll get up here. We'll just walk it. We'll fast forward though. So yeah, I think, you know, if we can win here, we go east, and maybe we resurrect the Amako faction again. I don't know if that's possible to do. I don't know what their capital was considered to be. It might have been Iwami. But if we can take one of the 2 provinces to the east that used to belong to them, maybe we can have a chance to resurrect them. And if we do that, you know, I'm a little nervous about doing that because I don't know what happens if we lose our last province. I would assume the faction, you know, would be eliminated. That's kind of usually the way it goes in Total War games. Like that? Yeah, something like that, I guess. So, like, alright, let's halt, slow the speed down. What do we want to do here? I know they got some bow samurai. What do they got? Bow samurai. Okay, they've got katana. They got a lot of bows, actually. It looks like 2 Yari Ashigaru, 1. It looks like 3. They got like 5 melee units, but they get a lot of bows, which is kind of annoying because I have a lot of bows too. I mean, I guess it's good. Like, I wouldn't do well. Let's all go this way. Yeah, you have you go around. Yeah. Alright, we'll just get in a stupid missile duel. Like, oh my gosh. Alright, let's do that to them also. Oh, gonna hide. Ashigaru. Yeah, this is very, very not good for me. Okay, so what are they doing now? Moving back? Okay. Okay, great. You know, maybe now we push up the Ashigaru to... I don't know. Where's he going? Alright, let's get out of here then. I mean, if they're shooting at my cav, I guess they're not shooting at my bows. Not that that's awesome, but let's actually try to come back.
Hidden units, my lord! Treacherously meant to ambush us!
Can we catch up to him? All my guys are firing, I think. Haven't killed any yet. Alright, now he's down to 2. Down to 1. Alright, let's focus on the Ashigaru then. Alright, are they coming down the hill? I think so. Come on, let's just kill this guy. Come on, please. Wavering. Oh, that's frustrating.
Hidden units have been discovered, my lord.
Get out of here. Did we get him? Where is he? Did we get him? I would think that we would get the message, right? We may have killed him. I just don't know. Okay, they're shattered. So we might have killed the general. That would be good information for the game to give us. Let me just complain about that for a little bit here, because, you know, that would be useful. Let's go get those Bow Ashigaru. Actually, we'll chase him with that. Yeah, he'll catch him. Right, you keep getting away. Alright, are we firing? No. Okay, so you gotta get up here and fire. I thought I told you to come back. Yeah, sometimes the game is very insistent that you get things, get information about things. Like, I know sometimes I've gotten information like, oh, our guys have used all their ammunition. Or, you know, your general's in grave danger. It always tells you that. But there's been several times where it's just not mentioned anything about the enemy general dying. Which, that would be awesome to know, because maybe that happened a long time ago, right? They're steady. Let's come here.
One of our units has used all its
There we
ammunition,
go.
my lord.
But that guy ran out a while ago, I think. Maybe not. Alright, 93 men. They're wavering now. And we're taking some fire. Yep. Okay, when to push up this hill? Like, if we did kill the general, then that is not a constant morale debuff, is my understanding. That's something that does go away after a while. So we need to be exploiting it. Yeah, you're gone. Alright, let's start to move people up. Okay, he's done. There's a bunch of katana samurai. Where are they? I guess hidden somewhere. Okay, yeah, there must be somewhere in the trees. So I guess let's Yari wall up and just march. Okay, we're gonna get this guy caught. Let's try not. Alright, at least we took that Yari Ashigaru unit out of the fight. There's the katana samurai.
Hidden units, my lord. Treacherously meant to ambush us.
Yeah, let's actually change focus on them. Okay, you can't... Actually, you can fire. But you're out. Okay. I think we'll just try general surrounding and then see if that works. We probably need a general up here, though. Now, are we fighting? I mean, I guess we are. And, like, let's try this. Let's give a march order behind them. I don't know if that's going to be helpful or not. Pull them back away. Oh, you're gonna get caught? You're gonna get caught by guys on foot? Alright. Turn around and hit him at the right moment here. There they go. That's probably a little too late. Okay, they're gone. We can come back up with our generals. See if we can make this work. Alright, Ashigaru now wavering. You ran out of ammo. So I can use you. Alright, we can actually hit them with fire. ammunition again, but our guys are wavering. So who do we want to hit? They're actually going to attack now. What are you doing? Yep, let's get you around. Get you around. Let's hit the bow Ashigaru with all of them, I guess. We'll do a rally. Can we get a route? We've got some routes.
My lord, a glorious victory will soon be yours.
All right. Yep, we got to continue. Alright, you're chasing the Ashigaru. Someone needs to be on the Katana Samurai. How about you? I think we took a lot of losses in that one. But, like, if we got the daimyo, right? Like, I mean, I think we must have. Is that Yari Ashigaru? Okay, not much Katana Samurai left. Yeah, we're going to be done in a second here, I think. Okay, where's the rest of them? Okay, so some way over here. Alright, not worth worrying about. Let's quit the battle. So we'll get back to the campaign map. We'll figure out what we can do next. And maybe do a little sort of debrief about what went wrong here, because I got some theories. You know, I am learning in this campaign. This is my first attempt at a hard campaign or battle difficulty. And I think, if I had to guess, the problem is sort of a combination of luck, certainly some inexperience on my part, some things that I should have anticipated. I guess Kikuwa are pretty strongly disposed to attack the Mori relatively early, so it's unlikely that you're going to be in a good enough position to deal with the Amako and them right off the bat. And on hard, of course, that's going to be even more difficult. So we didn't lose any units. That's nice. And we wiped out all of them. Great. Alright, we do have some money, but yeah, this is my problem here. It's a full stack. It's a full stack of the Besho. This was at the beginning of the last episode, or the one before the last episode, I think they were a one-province faction. But the problem is I had made a couple of vassals here, and I think that this campaign sort of showcases one of the problems with taking vassals. This is not something I'd really encountered before. In my other campaigns played on normal, I was able to kind of withstand getting sucked into vassals' wars. But on this one, I was not, because we had the Amako attacked by the Yamana, and the Besho as well were attacking them, but also the Kikuwa faction. So basically we get two clans attacking my vassals, and then me by extension because I sided with them, and so they just kept steamrolling through. So I was not able to prevent that. Now, next turn, I mean, this may just be the end. They could go for a Wami and destroy me. I can't get back there this turn. Maybe I could get in the province, but I don't want to. What I want to do is try to get here. You know, what I could do maybe is... no, I can't sabotage the army because I have just got barely too little cash. I've got... if I had 70 more Koku in the bank, I could attempt a sabotage. I could try to assassinate them. I don't think there's much point in spending the money on that, and I'm not going to bother training anything here either. So, you know, he killed my Metsuke, the assassin there. So they've just been going nuts for me. So we'll see how they handle this turn. If the Besho just moves up and finishes the job. Yep. So we're going to auto-calc that. We're definitely going to lose. And then I think we just lose the campaign here, right? I've never had this happen in Shogun 2. Decisive defeat. Yep. Alright, let's watch this. Right. If I ever got to the point where I could make medium bunes, this would be even more emotional, I'm sure. But no, I never even got that far.
I was restless water, but I shall flow and crush no more. Now I shall be still.
Alright, so there's a defeat there. Yeah, so there's the Besho, there's how they are. Look at the Yamana. They got all the way down here. So they took Izumo from me. I basically abandoned that. They took Hoki and I think Mimasaka from my vassals. And then just moved straight over to me. So at the time, I think they also must have picked up this relatively recently. Did they get Kyoto? Probably not. We would have got an announcement about that, I assume. But yeah, so they had something like 3 provinces when I first became aware of them. So I think they grabbed this one too. And then, yeah, and then just kind of steamrolled at exactly the same time the Besho was moving. So it is unfortunate. Like, what I want to do, I want to try this again, right? I think it's tough because you want to go up to deal with Yamako. You feel like you want to finish the job, but and maybe I do. Maybe you do want to go and, like, instead of making them a vassal here, maybe instead you want to eliminate them entirely. But, you know, it seems like that's a risky proposition too, because you eliminate the faction, there's just another clan on the other side of them, right? Waiting potentially to move in on your territory. So there are, you know, pros and cons to taking vassals. And in this campaign, we see the cons, right? Like, as you can go back to the previous episodes where I sided with my vassals in both occasions where these wars sprang up. And so that meant that I was just next on the list. The Chosakabe, there's another faction that I'm at war with. Because of my vassal, because of the Kikuwa. And in this campaign, unlike the others I've played, my vassals were not able to do anything. So in the other campaigns where I've had vassals, they have not been wiped out this fast. They've been a little stronger. Maybe that's a consequence of playing on a higher difficulty. Maybe your vassals get some kind of a debuff. I don't think so. I think it might simply be just luck, right? Luck of the draw that your vassals, you know, maybe we did too good of a job weakening the Kikuwa or something, right, and making them that much easier for the next clan to take over. And maybe what would have saved me is not siding with my vassals in any circumstance. That could have given me a bit of time. So looking at starting this again, you know, like, I don't know if we'll do another Let's Play as the Mori here on hard, but yeah, curious what I could have done differently here. Certainly, I've seen other people try different things. I've seen, let's see, Dishonorable Daimyo has a Mori start where he does something very, you know, kind of unconventional. He, instead of going on the attack and taking Iwami as soon as he could, he leaves some forces around his capital and kind of baits them into attacking him, and then, you know, defeats them there. But from turn 1, he takes an army down to Iyo, which is not yet owned by the Chosakabe at that point, and is able to get a quick little battle there, like on turn 2 or 3, something like that. So he's, you know, trying something very different by going down to, I think, Shikoku. This island. I'm trying to think if I've seen any other Let's Plays of Mori. But, I had success on medium difficulty at any rate, going up here, and I can't remember, we must have ended up at war in the west relatively early, because I was able to move down into Kyushu without having to think about it. So, again, I think some of this is just how other factions tend to build up. And the one thing I think that I'm taking away from this is what surprised me in this campaign is both how I did better at the battles than I thought. I'm not going to say I did great at the battles here, but I did better than I thought. I thought a lot of the battles that I started, I was really half thinking I was going to lose. When the capital was attacked a couple of episodes ago, I thought that was just done. But I was able to sort of stand against that. And so I did better in the battles than I thought in some ways. In some ways I did worse than expected because I took a lot of casualties. But the fact that I was able to win some of them tells me that I shouldn't be so worried about battles, potentially. Maybe I just need to be more aggressive. And I think that is one thing that I realized at some point around episode 3 or so, that I was being very conservative with like my Yari Ashigaru. I was thinking, okay, they are good in the Yari wall, so I should use that all the time, especially on hard, right? Because you want to use every advantage you got. But I found that I think I was taking a lot more losses that way because I was playing slow. I was just, probably taking a lot of arrow fire, not moving around as quickly as I needed to on the battlefield. And there was one battle where I ended up using them more aggressively, and that worked out a lot better than expected because I was able to do some flanking with them, I think, and it just put pressure on the AI. So I think, that's kind of one thing to take away from this. Just maybe I need to be more aggressive with my troops on the battlefield and not be so worried about that. By the same token, the other thing that's surprising to me is how poorly the campaign worked out for me. And again, I'm not sure, if that's quite what that is. Is that just, oh yeah, I had a couple of unlucky draws with how the clans attacked things. I don't think I ever heard of these guys before, the Yamana clan. I think they've always been eliminated in the other campaigns that I've played. And the Besho, I don't think have ever been a problem for me before. But, maybe it's just that sometimes this happens and there's a great deal of randomness to how the campaign unfolds. I think that's the case with this game, which is nice because it makes for a great deal of replayability. But sometimes, of course, you just get slammed. So in this case, I had, effectively, right at the end here, a two-front war that I just couldn't stand against. The other thing, though, are there some things that I, really should have been doing? One of them would have been trying to get more money through diplomacy. And that was something in the first episode I said, I don't want to try that stuff. That's cheesy. Giving military access for 500 gold or something like that. It doesn't seem realistic. It's a gamey exploit kind of a thing. That's kind of in my mind. I could have had more money. I could have been better developed. It is a great, great tragedy that as soon as I could start training the Wako Raiders, I was attacked by the Besho, right? I had one unit that would have been trained in Bichu or in one of those provinces, but for the fact that the Beshu came and attacked me that turn before they could get out into the fort. So, had I done the diplomatic gathering and spent more time on that stuff, I could have had more money to develop things quicker, maybe. Maybe I also made some mistakes with how I developed my provinces. I'm not sure about that. I think having ninjas was useful. Of course, it was also kind of a little mini drain on my income, right? Every turn, spending a couple hundred, or at least 100 on some sabotage that might not have mattered. Maybe that all adds up, especially where I'm not trying to get a lot of money through other means. So I was really just relying on kind of just the passive forms of income through, the gold mine up at Iwami, the farms that I had built, but I was hardly doing any trading at all. And again, that was in part because I didn't feel like I could afford to invest in it, but maybe I should have. I should have found a way. So that's the difference maybe between, normal difficulty and hard. On hard, the money is so much tighter. I will say this, though. I sort of parallel to this, I started playing a hard campaign as the Shimazu, and I know that they have an easier position. At least that's the conventional wisdom, right? And indeed, I'm having a much easier time with them. I think I've got, half of Kyushu within a couple of years. And so that's going a lot better. The economy doesn't feel as tight. I mean, it's a little tight, but it's not too bad. It's definitely doable. So I think there's a combination of things. I think Mori has maybe a more challenging start than I had been led to believe. They are the only faction that I've ever beaten a campaign with, granted on normal difficulty. And so I kind of thought, oh well, okay, this is the first faction that I took it to the end with. This should be pretty straightforward. But just looking at it and trying to deal with attacks from multiple directions, you've got this mountain range in the middle here, which makes it just really difficult to reinforce. So I think I maybe expanded too quickly to be able to defend what I had, or I didn't expand well. Like if there had been a way that I could have gone west first or east first and somehow just ignored the guys to the north of me, that might have been smarter. So maybe those are things that I'll try out in the future. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this defeat, this failed campaign of Shogun 2. It's been interesting to see. I do look forward to playing some more of this on the channel, hopefully with a better result. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any advice, and have a good one. Take care until the next one.